Hello! Sorry for the late card of the day post, but this is for the 7th of May. Happiest of birthdays to this May 7th babies. We're going to connect and see what messages is coming up for what messages are coming up for the next 24 hours. Whenever you happen to see this video, whether it's May 7th or some other day, we're setting the intention here for the next 24 hours from whenever you happen to see this message. And the card that we have is the Judgment card. This is a Major Arcana card. Major Arcana cards, I've said this before. A lot of you have heard me say this before. Major Arcana cards come up anytime that we're coming into a significant new chapter in our life. It's a defining moment. It's an energy that's going to be around for a while. So even though I'm setting the intention here for the next 24 hours, the things that are happening in the next 24 hours are going to require your attention, okay? And the Judgment card, it can be answering a calling, okay, where we feel called to do something, or we feel pulled in a certain direction in our life, which we had the Temperance card, and the Temperance card is all about stepping onto life path. So the Judgment card can be continuing yesterday's message and telling us that for some of you, that calling might be becoming stronger or pulling at you more. This can also be big decisions that you're finding having to make in the coming weeks or months. Now, we're not just talking about everyday little decisions. When the Judgment card comes up, we're talking about big life-changing decisions, right? Like, do I go left? Do I go right? Like, these are big defining moments. So, as I said, even though we're setting the intention for the next 24 hours, the things happening in the next 24 hours are going to be affecting the next, few months for some of us. Now, I normally don't pull clarifiers when I'm doing the card of the day, but because this is such a big energy and it can apply in so many different ways, and I'm doing this for just a general audience, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull some clarifiers here. Why is the Judgment card here, please? Please show us clarifier 1, clarifier 2, clarifier 3. For some of you, I do feel like you're going to have to be making a decision that in some ways, like it's now or never. Maybe you thought that you would do something later or you were putting something off. But Spirit is showing me this ship, and it's pulling away. Like it was docked and it's undocking and it's going out to sea. So I feel for some of you that this is a situation where there might be an opportunity that if you let this opportunity go, like that's it, it's gone. Now, that's not to say that it's the end of the world, because we know how the universe works. One opportunity leaves, something else will come in. But something about this specific situation, maybe like you have to ask yourself, am I going to really regret this later? Am I going to kick myself about it later? Am I going to look years from now and say, gosh, man, I really wish I would have taken that opportunity? So for some of you, I do feel that there's something here that might be time sensitive. Now, I'm going to pull the clarifiers. I pull the clarifiers. We're going to look at the clarifiers. Clarifier 1 for the Judgment card is the Hierophant. Yikes. These are big decisions with all these major arcanas. 8 of Cups. Ay, ay, ay. And the Hermit. Holy cannoli, right? These are big energies. This is something that's going to be around for a while. So when the major arcana cards come in back to back, that tells me really big changes in a short period of time. The Hierophant can have to do with beliefs. Some of you are really examining your beliefs. And the 8 of Cups is you may be going on a spiritual journey. The Hermit is the spiritual teacher. So, some of you may be questioning your spiritual teachers. Some of you may be questioning your spiritual leaders. Some of you may be preparing to leave certain organizations or churches that maybe have had a huge impact or huge influence on you until now in the decisions that you have made. And Spirit is giving me the sense that for some of you, this ship is like sometimes what I refer to as the dangling carrot. Sometimes Spirit will put something in front of us to get us moving or to get us out of a place or a situation that's not so great for us. And having mercy and not throwing a tower moment at us will put that little dangling carrot to entice us, to lure us to get moving. And so I feel here that there could be for some of you where you have that dangling carrot situation. But whatever the case here, it's time for you to make a really big decision here in terms of your beliefs and your commitments and what it is that you're devoting your life to. I just heard conflict of interest 3 times. And so I feel some of you may be in a situation where you are in a conflict of interest, right? You may have committed to things that are in direct opposition to the things that you're wanting to manifest, okay? Like, I don't know, and for some of you there could be religious factors here because of the Hierophant. And so some of you may be choosing a more spiritual path versus a religious path. Even if you are on a religious path, at some point, you have to make that your own in your internal connection. So some of you may be seeking to have a more internal connection. I do feel like a lot of you are waking up to your beliefs and wanting to share your beliefs with others or lead them or guide them or direct them here with this Hermit energy. And also, I've said this about the Hierophant in the past, when we're having to make decisions and decisions are coming up for us, the Hierophant reminds us to make decisions based on our beliefs, our priorities, our principles, our ethics. As long as we do this, we will never make the wrong choice, and we will align with the right people and opportunities and situations. But I do feel here with the 8 of Cups and the the Hermit as clarifiers for the Judgment card, some of you, not only are you having to make a decision based on your beliefs, you're having to re-examine your beliefs, okay? And some of you have heard me tell this story before. A lot of you know that I was raised having the Bible drilled in my head since, you know, I learned to read from a children's Bible. It was just church and Bible all the time. And so in that particular sect that I grew up in, I remember as an adult, a lot of the rules started changing, and they started changing a lot of the procedures. And the preacher that was on the platform speaking to everybody, he was reading like an announcement from the organization, like from the very top of the organization, and it was right there in print, and he read it out loud. It said, as true Christians, we want to avoid independent thinking. So the rule was that from now on, like, you weren't allowed to study your Bible by yourself, or you weren't allowed to get together with other people from the church and like have a Bible study together, like independently. Like, basically it was saying too many of you are coming up with your own interpretation, you're coming up with your own beliefs of what it means, and so you're not allowed to study it anymore. You read what we give you and you take what we tell you, and like, that's it. That's the only meaning that there is. And if you're a true Christian, you're going to avoid independent thinking. And that to me was terrifying. Why is God going to give you a brain if you're not allowed to think? To me, that's like they're going to start passing out the Kool-Aid, right? And that was it. I never went back after that. And so some of you may be in a situation where maybe you've been following a certain organization or leader, and maybe it's getting to that weird Kool-Aid moment where you're like, or they're gonna give us all Nikes and pass out the Jello shots, right? Like you might be like, something here is not right. And so listen to your gut, listen to what your intuition is telling you. For other ones of you, it's just that you may be having a shift and an awakening, and you may be outgrowing certain teachers or certain beliefs, and you're coming into the realization of what your beliefs are as you're evolving, as you're ascending, as you're coming into more maturity and, being more awakened. Okay, realizing this, figuring this out for yourself. At the end of the day, right, we all need to have our own connection. And sometimes when we make that connection, we begin to see and we begin to realize a lot of fakery around us, a lot of disingenuous teachers, mentors, leaders. And so some of you may be seeing through people that you put a lot of faith in, or people that you put a lot of trust in, and you're like, oh, this isn't right. This isn't right at all, And so some of you are making this shift away from the people or places or organizations that were your moral compass. I feel like for a lot of you, your moral compass is changing or shifting. And maybe for some of you, the allegiance or the commitments you have to these mentors or teachers or organizations have been preventing you from getting really what your heart has been wanting, or really what your heart has been longing for. And so there could be that aspect of like the ship, right? Like this is the time to disconnect from these organizations or from these places, so that you can manifest a specific thing, maybe even a specific person for some of you. But I would just invite you to pray and to meditate and to just check in and see what your beliefs are. What is your decision-making process? What are you basing it on? Are these things that you still believe? Are these things that still resonate with you? Okay? And some of you may be answering a spiritual calling at this time as well. I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. There's a link in the description of this video that will take you to calendly.com/amethystangelite, and you can schedule a private reading with me there if you would like to. Also, the May Love readings are linked in the description of the video. The weekly forecasts for this past week are linked in the description of the video, and the weekly forecasts for the coming week are going to be up this weekend. I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Have a wonderful day, my dears. Take care and be well.